got something to show off. That's super damn heavy. Ugh. Welcome back. I'm Babyface P. These are the hands of Babyface P. Bringing you guys something that I bought. Figured I would show off. There's not a whole lot on it. We are continuing to upgrade the lathe that's currently outside in the garage. And as part of that, we currently have it's called a lantern style tool post. So the post on top that holds your actual tool, the cutting tool, currently is a lantern style, which is a really old style tool post. It does work. It takes a little bit longer to set up and it's kind of outdated, so I figured, screw it, why not? Let's go with the best of the best. Well, no. We're not going with the best of the best because I'm not buying an Atlas or one of those really expensive ones. Let's go with the knockoff of the best of the best. That's what we got right here. This is what I bought from Amazon. It's a quick change tool post. Comes with there it is, the main tool post itself, and then all of the different tools to add on to it, or the attachments to add on to it that you put your tools in. This one was from Amazon. It is a 200 series, so you could either call it a 200 series or a BXA. It goes kind of by both designations if you look at some of the big companies. For anybody that's curious, the smallest that they make, I'd say the smallest one is an OXA. That is for like mini lathes. So you see those little tiny mini lathes that you get from like Harbor Freight. An OXA is something for that. Next step up would be an AXA, and that would be up to like a 12-inch swing on your lathe. BXA is above that. It's like 12 to 16. CXA is then the biggest of the group, I believe, and it's like 16 to 20 or something like that for really, really big monster lathes. So we have a 13-inch. The LeBlond is a 13-inch, so I went with a BXA. A little more expensive, but let's see what we get. Let's see what we get when we open it up. Bunch of boxes. Bunch of other boxes. So let's go with the best thing first. Why not? The tool post itself. Oh, God, it's heavy. So in your packaging, looks like you get some cardboard tubing with, I'm guessing, the bolt in there for twisting the tool head down, a greasy empty box, and a really heavy greasy tool post. Let me break this open. You see how it looks. I'm gonna have to obviously take a bunch of oil off this before I call it good. Oh, let's put it right there and crush a box with it. There we go. So super, super oily and greasy, which is good. That's not something to complain about. Save you from having anything rust on you, which is nice. So one thing I did do, I went with what's called the wedge style. So you'll know that if you're looking into tooling, there's two major types of, there's probably more, but the two biggest ones that I came across of tool posts, of quick change tool posts, are the piston style, which has a little piston right here on the inside that when you tighten down the tool post, the piston pushes out and friction locks the piece on. This one is called a wedge style. This is kind of the newer, updated style. And as you can see, it's got wedges that wedge outwards, and that causes the friction to lock the tool in place. So let's see, inside this, there's gonna be some tape, and it's gonna take me forever to open this up. There we go, tear it open. Come on, there it is. You have I don't even know how this goes together, but this is definitely gonna screw onto there, like that. And then I can't see from the other side, but I'm guessing there's a hole over here somewhere, right there. For this to screw into as well, and they got nice little wrench flats on it. Turn it like that, maybe you guys can see. Nice little wrench flats to snug this thing down on the tool post. But that's pretty much it. It's as you can see, as I'm rotating this, the wedges are moving, and that is what causes the friction on the tool posts, on the tool holders. All right, so that's that. Let's grab some tool holders next. So we have the 250-201. So they use a number designation to tell you what they are. And the nice thing is, these are Chinese knockoffs. These are quote-unquote cheaper, but they use the same designation as a really high-end one, so they should fit. If you buy some aftermarket Chinese ones, they're supposed to fit the same tool post. So this is a 250-201. This is, I think, I haven't looked at it yet, but I think it's the most basic you can get for a tool holder. Looks like that is the case. Sorry, hopefully I'm not off camera. Also super greasy and oily, which is, again, not a bad thing. Never complain about that. Put it on here so my fiance doesn't kill me when I put grease on the table. So this is your 250-201, made in the great state of China. But to be honest, the surfaces look well ground. All these surfaces back here are nice and smooth and very, very flush and clean. Let's see, I'll bring it up closer so you guys can see. Hopefully this will autofocus. There we go. So you can see the surfaces are actually nicely machined for being a $200 tool post. So the way these work, if you can see, let me catch it in the light, just like that, your tool will go in here. So I'm going to be using, most likely, I have some carbide insert tooling that I have on order. That's probably what I'm going to end up using mostly. Tool will go in here and that will hold your carbide insert. These hex keys here lock the tool into the bottom of this, and then your screw on the back dictates the height of the tool itself, so you can raise it or lower it to correctly get the height to your piece of work, to your center line on your work. Nice thing about running a tool post like this is it's repeatable. As long as you're not beating on it or tearing it up or whatever, it's supposed to be very repeatable. So your tool post drops in, tighten it down, and it's supposed to go to the same height. Oh, I'm off camera a little bit. It's supposed to go to the same height every time. But obviously, you know, just would be adjusting it, loosening it, see, like that. That's how you would adjust. And we'll do a whole video on setting this up and adjusting it. But this nut here is to adjust the height for your center point, and then you would lock it down with a lock nut, and then use that to friction lock it, and it's supposed to be very repeatable. That's the nice thing about it. Knock it off. Come on. There we go. Up it comes. And you can see it actually does fit very well. Like that. Very smooth for being, you know, typically I consider Chinese stuff to be really of poor quality for the most part. There are some things you can get. This, from what I can tell, is pretty nicely machined. Wherever this came out of, it's not very descriptive on who made it. Wherever it came from, they did a pretty good job on this one. It was $200, so you get the whole kit and everything from Amazon with Prime shipping for $200. That's the reason I went with it. The one more thing I forgot to explain over here. It's about an extra $40 to go for the wedge style versus the piston style. I decided that for me, that was a worthwhile expense. Everybody I messaged or any forums that I looked at, everybody suggested go wedge, don't go piston. So it's about a $40 to $50 increase on price to get wedge currently. But, you know, if you're going to do it, you might as well get the best tooling you can afford at the time, and this for me is about the best I can afford. I would love to get like an Aloris or one of those like really high-end ones, but a little out of my price range at the moment, so maybe eventually. Anyways, next up we have the 250-202. I don't know the difference here. I think this one's very similar to the 250-200. To be perfectly honest, it looks identical. Oh, I think this one has a groove in the bottom. Let me pull this out of the plastic. I think I read online that this one's grooved. Hold on, one sec, coming back at you. This one is grooved where the other one is flat. So, oh, you guys are never gonna be able to see that, I'm sure. Let's see, come on. Focus, focus, focus. Come on, camera, do your thing, camera. Give it a focus surface like that, and you'll focus in. Ooh, there we go. So there's a groove right there. where you can put certain types of, I'm trying to catch it in the light. Sorry, this is tough. Certain types of cutting instruments in there. So that's what the 202 gets you. Otherwise, pretty much the same. Next up, let's go for the 204, next in line. 250, 204. And the 250, 204 is much, much bigger. This one looks to be a boring rod attachment. So, if you got yourself a boring rod, this would clamp on, and then your boring bar would go through the middle. So it clamps on here, boring bar goes through the middle, and you can bore out the inside of whatever you need, and it's tightened with these two top nuts. Next up, let's see, what do we got? Next in line is the 250-207. So there you go, 250-207. And let's see what this one is. This one is a angled cutter. So this one will be angled, and you would put in like a high-speed steel or some sort of adapter for carbide, and it will work as a parting tool. So your parting tool goes up at an angle, gets clamped in, and then you can put it like that and have it part your tools off, cut your tools right off. So that's your parting one. And then lastly, we have the 250-210. And this one was a little bit exciting. I don't know how good it's gonna turn out, but this one I believe has a knurling part on the back. So a little bit exciting. It has, to be perfectly honest, I don't know what this insert is gonna be used for. Some sort of insert tooling would fit into here, and I don't know what. But the exciting part, which I'm definitely going to try out on my first set of my first lathe project, is going to be I wanted to make some punches, some brass punches. This is a knurling end, so this is just a press fit knurling. Let's bring it up close so you guys can see. You basically, come on, camera. You basically press your piece into there, and as it spins, these spin and impart the knurl onto your tool. So it will do both. It'll fit something into here. I'm guessing just a piece of tooling that's shorter or something like that. And then you flip it sideways and you can knurl the handles on your parts. So all in all, I haven't hooked it up yet, but I'm fairly satisfied with the $200 purchase. I looked at buying these from someplace like Banggood, which is kind of like a Chinese Amazon, I would almost call it. It's a reseller. And to get a BXA post with, let's see if I can even cram all these in, a BXA post with all of these holders was gonna be right around the same price. And then you have to wait for it to either ship from China or you get shipping from somewhere in the States if it's stateside, and it'll take like a week to get here. I figured for $200, this is probably worth giving this a try. Plus it had Prime shipping, so it showed up in 2 days. So if you're setting up your own lathe, if you have a larger lathe like I do, check out in the description below. I will put a link to this one so you guys, if you want to buy the exact same one that I bought, I'll put a link to it. You can see what it is, and I'll put a review on it once we get it set up and running. But overall, I think this is really nice for $200 to not pay the Aloris fee, which I guarantee Aloris is very, very high quality, very nicely machined. But as a home gamer, as a non-professional toolist, machine shop owner, I think this is going to do really nicely for now. It'll get me set up. It'll help us as a channel learn our shortcomings, where we can improve. And then from here, I always kind of use the idea that if I can break something, wear something out, or use it enough to really find its flaws, that's when I'll go and upgrade to something like an Allure, something really expensive. If I end up not using some of these pieces enough to break them or wear them out or find where their weak points are, then I probably don't need the highest end professional tooling. But maybe you guys will get lucky. I'll end up breaking something and I'll update this video with, oh, I broke that. But for now, really heavy, really well built, all solid. I think it's gonna do really well for our home game, home shop. The next thing that we're gonna do, coming up next on the channel, you see this bottom plate will have to be milled. So luckily we have the milling machine outside, but we're gonna have to mill this down to fit the groove on the bottom of the lathe. But we will do that next. Stay tuned. This will be the next thing we do. Also have a couple videos coming out in around the same time frame about building an 8K. So if you're interested in that, and if you find this video like a year from now, go check it out. Look for the 8K series. We're gonna have a whole beginning to end of how to put together an AK-47, an East German AK-47. So go check that out. As always, people tell you, do the same things, like, share, subscribe. If you want to, hit the thumbs up. That's a really important thing. If you find this content interesting, machining, gunsmithing, gun work in general, if this is really interesting to you, tell YouTube that you like this. They don't want us on the platform at the moment. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, but they really don't want us on the platform. Let them know that we're still welcome within our own community, at least, if not outside of that. So, catch you guys on the next one. Hope you enjoy it. Peace.